day. Like, it has nothing to do with the weight. It has nothing to do with if you have good skin, good hair day, bad hair day, small lips, big lips. That's always going to happen. But if you start believing in yourself for who you've been raised to be, and you start believing in yourself because of your thoughts and your emotions, and you start feeding into that, I think physical beauty takes a little bit of a backseat.
Ananya, I want to ask you this. You mentioned breathing exercises, which you kind of do. There is, I think everybody's life has different forms of pressure. There are high pressures in what you do as an entrepreneur, as an artist. What are techniques that you use to kind of deal with whenever the pressure's a little higher than it should be?
Yeah. So again, I'm on that journey. So I do have days where I don't do what I should do, and then I face the consequences. I don't know when any of y'all have heard of. Do any of y'all meditate here? Put your hand up. Yeah. So personally, a good 20 minutes of meditation in the morning really helps me. This morning I woke up and I was in a little bit of daze, and I came for my sound check. So I did like 5 minutes backstage of just breathing exercises. Personally, for me, box breathing really helps. You can Google that. So you create a box. You breathe in for 4 or for whatever. It could be you breathe in for 7. You hold for 7 and you breathe out for the same amount, 7, and you make a box. And I think what I've realized is with different breathing techniques, or if it's belly breathing when you're having really bad anxiety, it's really centering. Just to remind yourself that okay, it's just my breath. And we just breathe without even knowing, right? Like we're going about our entire day and it's like this, we're just breathing. So that really helps me. Journaling really helps me sometimes when I feel really overwhelmed and I don't know why. I start writing. And sometimes it's like, I'm really tired today, I don't know why. And that's fine, right? It's just when you write, I think it's a form of, it's cathartic. Gratitude journaling is really important. So when I'm feeling really frustrated, I just take a minute out and I just close my eyes and I think of even just 3 things I'm grateful for, and I immediately feel better. So scientifically, it's proven that when you're in a state of gratitude, you can't feel any so-called negative emotion. So practicing that, the first thing that you wake up in the morning or even when you go to bed is personally really powerful. Like I said, working out is really important. It could be a 10-minute walk and that's fine. So I've found different ways. Having the right people around you is so important. People who love you for who you truly are, flaws and everything. So yeah, there are a couple of things that I personally do. Yeah.
And it's so important to find what works for you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's important to kind of tap into the right kind of resources, find help so that you can learn what works for you and then kind of move ahead with that. I think that's the journey to itself.
Yeah, totally. Like for example, like high intensity cardio doesn't work for me because when my heart rate is really high, even though nothing's going to happen, I feel really uncomfortable and it pushes me into having a panic attack. So I do it just to desensitize myself, but I just don't do high intensity cardio, right? I just stay in zone 2 or zone 3 of my heart rate, and I feel much better. So it really, like you're saying, it really depends on, maybe someone can't meditate or doesn't want to meditate. That's totally fine. You can play the guitar. Maybe playing the guitar is meditation for you. So all of us are different, and we can't expect ourselves to fit into one sort of label because we're not. We're human beings, So.
Nikhil, you've been through your own journey with mental health and dealing with anxiety. And you've spoken about this in the past. You also spent a lot of time really going out there and having these conversations with young people about what they're experiencing, what they're feeling. So do you have some insights you'd want to share on what young people today are kind of going through and what you've learned in your conversations with them?
I have to tell young people here what I have heard from them. Yeah. What are you going through? I have to tell now. That always makes me a bit awkward. First of all, hi everyone. I used to teach at Jai Hind, and I used to always hear that over there that nationals is the louder crowd. बहुत चिल्लाते हैं, बहुत चीखते हैं. यहाँ तो मुझे सुनने को नहीं मिल रहा. Are you a loud crowd? देखो आगे. This is the first college I've seen कि backbenchers चुप हैं. What's happening to the backbenchers? Are you a loud crowd? Okay, great. Thank you. I'm feeling, thoda validation mil raha mujhe. Because I was hearing everyone speaking these incredible things and I'm like, why is nobody clapping? Because I wanted to clap every line that everyone said. Yeah, just, but no, feel free to, please feel free to engage. This is a wonderful initiative, not the fact that we are here, but honestly, I feel like what Maybelline is doing is incredible. We've actually partnered with Maybelline as Yuva. We're doing trainings for 50,000 young people across, and for a brand and a company that with that kind of legacy and that iconic to spend their time and money where their mouth is, it's incredible. I would say let's just really have a big round of applause for Maybelline for making sure this is happening first and foremost. It's very, very cool. What have I learned? One of the things that unfortunately that we start hearing every time, so just for context, me and my team have traveled to about 35, 40 Indian cities now. We have gone to about 150, 170 campuses, just listening to young people across. And I think 5 saal se hum log kar rahe hain, Varun, but the issues are always the same. The spectrum on which young people lie on them kind of keeps changing. So as an example, 2019 was when we did our first roadshow. And the thing that we would constantly keep hearing from young people is, my parents don't understand me, and that is, I feel like no matter how old we get, that is still always going to be the biggest issue in our country, right? This is a new generation. You are a generation that has a new way of speaking with each other, a new vocabulary, a language which is accessible to you and your friends. Whether it's memes, whether it is voice notes, whether it is taking selfies when you are sad and sending to each other. These are your ways of dealing with shit, right? Your parents, unfortunately, there's always a generation gap. But for this generation, I think it's become some sort of a communication gap that parents don't know how to. And they don't know what language to communicate in. It's not your local, it's not Hindi, English, or whatever regional language you're part of. It's just a new internet language that they don't know. And that, because of that, unfortunately, the divide between a young person and their parent is getting wider. Like, one of the biggest insights for me was, we always keep calling this generation entitled. We say that, सारा दिन phone में लगे रहते हैं, सारा दिन they keep putting their head down, looking at their phone. The more I heard young people, the more I recognized that the reason that they look down is because when they look up, everybody's judging them. Your parents don't understand you. Your teachers, unfortunately, in a very long, I don't know if that's the case in nationals, I hope not, but in a lot of different places, the teachers don't understand them. A lot of the friends, are kind of judging you, and we reduce young people to labels, of the most obvious thing that we see, whether of what they're wearing, where they're from, whether what their opinion on social media is, how many followers they have. And that's the entirety of their humanity that we think. And we don't look at anything beyond that. There is feelings beyond that. There's human emotions beyond that. There are tough times. There are good days, bad days, terrible days. And until we recognize that about each other, I don't think we'll be able to move forward. I think the most important aspect of mental health, according to me at least, is having empathy and having that compassion for, I would say, people around you as well as for yourself. Zenia said some really nice things about, being, and I saw that those were all actually my talking points, which Maybelline stole, but those very important talking points, right? That it's not just you who has to take care of your mental health, it's people around you who have to look out. You have to be aware of the people around you who may be going through something. Because when one of us is possibly going through, one of you is going through something, while, yes, raise your hand, try to do the best you can, tell anybody and everybody who cares, but you may not be in that position at that time to actually raise your hand. Then there should be people around you who spot this and say, you know what, I think there's something going on with my friend there. And that's where you kind of come in. So I feel like that empathy to see people around you going through something and then pointing it out and helping them through, that's important. And again, most important is having empathy for yourself, recognizing you are going through and that it's okay. We keep saying these and it's become a cliche, it's become a, it's okay not to be okay. Everyone keeps repeating it and it's like, ho gaya, meko aur nahi sunna iske bare mein. But genuinely, when you're going through, it is okay. Don't fight it. Every one of us has gone through it and it's okay. It happens to so many others. You can talk about it. And when you do, it does get easier. It does get better. Yeah. Thank you, Ananya. Thank you. See, this is what I'm saying. Now we feel like we are saying something important. कोई ताली नहीं बजा लगता हम लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं फालतू में?
Thank you, Nikhil, as always, for getting the crowd nice and excited, nice and like energized towards this. But there's one point I want to pick from what you said, right? If you're not feeling okay, it's okay to not be okay and be able to talk about it. But when we are online, our tendency is always to show the fact that everything is fine, everything is amazing. Let's get the best selfies, get the right angle. And it's that perfect woke up in the morning shot or anything else. But we might be going through a lot internally and not really showing it. Kusha, I want to come to you on this. Is that if you're not feeling okay inside, but you still have to show your funny side, your dramatic side, everything else online, where does the line lie in terms of how, when you take a call saying, okay, one second, today I'm not going to do it this way, I don't want to hold it in, how do you deal with that?
First of all, I understand all of you all. You all have to attend a seminar or a panel discussion on mental health on a Tuesday at noon. So I feel all of you all. I don't even think they can laugh at anything, considering it's a very serious topic. So feel free to jump in if you have anything you want to talk. I think we should just get them engaging even right now. We should not wait for audience engagement. But I think when you profit of being online, and especially having a life that where you're consistently feeding on validation, you have to be ready for the negative feedback also. If you are putting your vulnerable side out into the world, there are going to be people who will probably tell you you're using the victim card, the woman card, you are crying, crying is easy, if you have to cry, why don't you cry at home? So you have to be ready for all kinds of feedback. What I have learned over the years is to keep your private life private. There are certain things that should be sacred, but that's me. Those are my experiences, and that is what I will probably